If you're looking to get started with Spawn, the newest fighter to join the roster, then I got some good news, my friend. I got you covered. I have 10 essential tips that every Spawn player must know in Mortal Kombat 11. Before we start, I do want to mention a couple of things. First, to understand the terminologies, here is the button layout. I'll be mentioning a lot of numbers, so be sure to remember the inputs. Second, I have other playlists on the channel that you might be interested in. I have step-by-step guides, 5 reasons you should main that character series, general beginner tip series, and now a quick tip series. Anyways, with that, let us get started. Spawn's Back 1 is a Footsie tool that is great at mid-range. Although it's not the fastest, it's a great way to constantly keep your opponent in check and whiff punish any button they press. Similarly, another Footsie tool that is great for Spawn to use is his 3-4 combo attack. Just like his Back 1, this tool is great at mid-range, and being able to hit confirm is one of the reasons why this attack is so good. Although it's better than Back 1 to poke with, it does start as a high, so be careful when using this in certain situations. In the From Hell variation, you get access to Blaze of Glory special move, which is an attack that hits multiple lows. The cool thing about this is that this is also a parry. If your opponent hits the start of this attack, they will get countered, and there is a crushing blow tied to it. Against certain characters that relies on low attacks, this variation can greatly shine. Now, you're able to mix up your opponent a bit since you have now overheads and low to work with. Be sure to condition your opponent with these attacks to get the upper hand. One advanced tip from this variation is that once you parried an attack, you are still able to cancel it, allowing you to have 33 framed hit advantage, meaning that you can combo from here. But you have to land it perfectly if you want this to work. But I thought this is something that some of you might want to know. Although Spawn's main tools are not the fastest, he does make up for it with his fast pokes. His standing 1 is 7 frames, and his down 1 is also 7 frames. Doing a down 1 into standing 1-1 does jail your opponent, meaning that the gap to punish is so small that it will be hard for your opponent to punish it. So I would highly recommend doing this at close range to pressure and keep you safe. Now, the great thing about Soul Chamber is that holding back 2 will make you plus on block. This is a good tool to use since it's tied to your 1-1, which again is one of the fastest tools Spawn has. If you were to use this attack to counter or punish your opponent, there is a crushing blow ready to go. Now be careful because it's possible for your opponent to punish it since it has a gap in between. They can down poke to punish, but if that's the case, don't hold back 2, this way it will punish them for pressing buttons instead. Similar to Soul Chamber, this Heaven and Hell combo attack does also leave you plus on block. Another highly recommended attack to pressure your opponent with. Now the trade-off is that your opponent can flawless block these attacks, but against a standard opponent, this is still a very good tool to use. Now playing a Spawn, he does have very good zoning projectiles. They're fast and for the most part will leave you safe. Amplifying them will definitely leave you safe or plus on block. Definitely use it to pressure your opponent at any range. Because Spawn has a lot of attacks that leave you plus, and the fact that he has great long range attacks that does not put your hurt box at risk, you want to make setup like these to whiff punish if they happen to press any buttons. Plenty of people at first will get caught with these since they think it's going to be their turn. The great thing about Fatal Phantasm as a combo ender is that this leaves your opponent in a restand position, which is always great because this means your opponent won't be able to use their wake up attacks and get up rolls. You do also have 4 frames of hit advantage, so you can try to continue your pressure and mix up from here. But you must cut out one of your standing 1 punches to guarantee the opponent is next to you. You then can get a free poke into a throw if your opponent ends up blocking. In the Hell Spawn variation, your combo strategy is a little different. In this variation, your goal is to mix up and set up your opponent with your tech. For example, you get access to his Hell Chain special move, which is pretty much a long range throw. Combining it with your back 1 can create a tick throw to catch your opponent if they are blocking. You can also use other starters like 3-4 or 4-2-1 with your command grab. You also have access to a Rising Hell special move that is a low hitting attack. You can now mix them up with your overhead and low attacks after your back 1. Also in the Hell Spawn variation, you get access to Soul Shattering War Club, back 4-3, which is an attack that allows you to break through armor. This is a perfect tool to use on your first or last combo before the round ends, which is the most common time opponents normally air escape. Always keep an eye on their defensive bar. Remember, to air escape it costs 2 defensive meters. As Spawn, your overall playstyle and strategy is to stay at mid-range. You have your long-range pokes such as back 1 and 3-4 to whiff punish opponents, as well as being able to attack offensively as combo starters. At the full screen, you have good projectiles that will help you pressure since they are fast and safe when amplified. At the close range, it's a little risky for him, but you do have some pokes to compete. His standing 1 and down 1 are pretty good tools to use. And remember, you also have attacks to keep you plus. So it's a matter of knowing the matchups and using the right tools to take advantage playing as Spawn. And there you go, 10 essential tips I think you should know when playing as Spawn. I do want to mention that this character is still pretty new, and when I made this video it's just right after a couple of weeks being released. In the future, there might be a pro player showing some more advanced techniques or more strategies. Just put them down in the comments down below if you heard of those techniques. Let's try to help each other out. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this, and for the next video I'm planning to do on other characters such as Johnny Cage or Sindel since they're my main characters. Like this video if you found this helpful, and I'll see you guys next time.